Hello everyone and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, I hope that you enjoy what we offer and you stick around, come back, visit, hit that subscribe button. We do a lot of fun stuff around here as far as food preservation and preparedness for life's little emergencies and so much more. What I want to discuss with you today are some of the questions that we got on a video that I put up a couple days ago for the Walmart pickup grocery haul. If you didn't get a chance to see that video, then I will put the link up in the iCard above and you can go check that out. But the gist of it was that I got a lot of pasta, okay? So in that video, I commented about for the next 96 days. And I had quite a few people say, what's with the whole 90-day thing? What's going on? What did I miss? So what I'm going to share with you, I actually ran across a video, and I will find it for you, and I'll link that down below, to a prepper channel. And when I saw it, I went, oh my gosh, that makes complete sense. Why did that not occur to me? And the more that I thought about it, the more I'm like, yeah, there's some validity to this thought. So I posted the question on our community page. If you follow that at all, a few times a week, I will post questions or different topics of conversation in the community page for everyone to participate with. It's a lot of fun seeing everyone's comments and the interaction that occurs. So before I did the haul video, I put up a question and at that time it was 97 days. Do you have what you need to get through the next 97 days? In 97 days, the inauguration is scheduled here in the US, okay? Many people are predicting food shortages and civil unrest through at least the inauguration. And then there's that, pesky pandemic. So do you have what you need to get through the next 97 days? That's a fairly short goal. That's a 3-month goal there, So it kind of spurred on a whole bunch of conversation in the community page. And I really enjoyed watching it all, but it just furthered my thing. I had mentioned in a previous video that I really wanted to get some more pasta because it's not something that Phil and I eat on a regular basis. I'll come around back to that. Anyway, so that is where the 96 days in the pasta video came from. And the day that this video is going up, I think we're down to 94 days until the inauguration. And when you think about everything that's going on, I really have a feeling that regardless of how this election goes or who you're voting for, I don't care who you're voting for, that there is a significant chance of civil unrest, no matter who wins. No matter who wins, I think that we have a real significant chance at some civil unrest, especially in the more urban metropolitan areas. But where we are, and this is kind of what, spurs me on sometimes, is we're a few hours drive from the Metro Detroit area, but I'm involved in a lot of Michigan prepper groups also, and involved in I am in them. I don't necessarily talk a whole bunch, but I noticed that a lot of the conversations during this whole, the initial shutdown phase and everything since then is a lot of people saying, well, if everything gets really bad, I'm heading north. And I'm sitting here in the north going, oh, heck no, come on now, So because everybody thinks that, hey, people in the country, they've got everything, right? No, that's actually the complete opposite. But, so it got me to thinking that I need to be prepared in case, hordes of people come from the city to where we are. What are we going to do? How are we going to take care of our families? Now, during the initial shutdown, we are 2 hours from a significantly larger community. It's not necessarily the Detroit area, but it's farther up. But anyway, so I was talking to somebody that I know that works at the local Walmart, and I said, how is it going there? Because I haven't stepped foot in the store and I'm not going to. And she said, actually, she goes, it's unbelievable. She goes, it's not the local people. It's the people that are coming up from the lower big city because their Walmarts and their stores have been completely annihilated. And so they're coming up because they're realizing that there are things still available up in our stores. And so they're coming up and they're wiping out our stores and then going back downstate. I'm like, why did I not think that this was a possibility? I didn't think anybody would drive over 2 hours to come up and buy, pasta or sweatshirts, but apparently they were, and they are. And so it made me think that, that kind of puts us in a further jeopardy kind of situation, because they're already coming up to fill their larders to buy what they need because it's not available in their own area, which then depletes any chance of anybody here being able to do the same. So just paying attention, talking to people, asking, doing my due diligence as far as what is actually happening, boots on the ground in our area, in our local market, as it relates to the more populated areas and where they're coming from. So the 96 days kind of just resonated with me. It really did. I just think that it's totally plausible. If there's another shutdown, it's wash, rinse, repeat. They'll come back up. They'll do the same thing again. And the area, like the county that we live in, is probably one of the top 10 poorer counties in Michigan. So there's a lot of people up here that are old. I mean, we've got a very aged community, a lot that are on very fixed incomes. And then we've got a lot of people that get some kind of assistance on very fixed incomes. And so they don't have the ability to do the things that the people coming from the more populated areas can do as far as stocking up. But to their credit, they're also the ones that are the most resourceful, so it's kind of you just don't know what to do, but I don't want to see anybody going without. So that's where the 96 days come from. Take it with a grain of salt, take it how you want to do it. But to me, it made sense. Okay. And like I said, I will link to that gentleman's video down below, because that part of his video, I don't remember what else was on the video, but that particular portion just really, really resonated with me. Okay, so now we got a bunch of other questions too. And I think one of the most common ones was, that's a lot of pasta. You must eat a lot of pasta. Okay. And truth be told, we eat very little pasta. We really do not. However, okay, now if it were just me and Phil, okay, just me and Phil, nobody else, and nothing happened, then that is enough pasta for more than 2 years for us, seriously. But if things are wonky in any way, shape, or form, then I know that we're going to be looking to stretch meals and to feed an extra 5 people. Like I said before, 3 very teenage growing boys. Okay. So when I make Sunday dinners, it's normally something substantial that will fill up these 3 growing boys plus the other 4 of us. So pasta is one of those things that will stretch a meal like nothing else. Okay. Pasta and rice. Now, just not a big, rice fan, but we like pasta. The kids love pasta. So, I mean, I can spaghetti and lasagna and pasta salad myself silly. They'll be great. I could make macaroni and cheese every night, and my youngest grandson would just never leave. Okay. But pasta is just one of those things that will help get you through a really rough time, a comfort food. And no, I mean, literally, it will take Phil and I 2 years or more to go through all of that pasta if I'm just cooking for the 2 of us. So it's not just for me and Phil. The next question was storage on pasta. And, what is the best way to store pasta? Pasta is a pretty resilient food, okay? So I'm not talking egg noodles here, because I don't typically have them on board, and there's a little more finessing that you need to do for egg noodles. But for the stuff that I bought, just plain old pasta, pretty resilient. And as far as storing it, you don't have to put it in a Mylar bag, okay? Especially if you're going to use it within a year. But you put it in buckets. If you get like I did the macaroni, or the elbow macaroni, right? I could put it all in a 5-gallon bucket, screw on a gamma lid, call it a day, pull out what I needed when I needed. It would be perfectly good and safe. Absolutely no issues. The biggest things that mess with your pasta, okay, are pests, rodents, insects, and then moisture. So any kind of humidity, that kind of thing. You want to keep those away from pasta. It will obviously impact whether or not you can use it. So when I put it, I left it in the boxes and I put it into those clear totes, right? And that is a short-term storage thing for me because we are under construction right now and because my pantry is becoming slightly out of control. I can still get in there and find what I need because I know. Can I send anybody else in there to get what I need? Probably not, okay? But I know where everything is, and having those clear totes makes it easier for me to find it and get what I need and get out. So for now, that pasta will stay in those totes, and the things that I pull out of the big cabinets that I have to empty will go into more totes so that I can find them easily. I could leave them in there for a year if I wanted. It would make no difference. Nothing can get into those totes. I put them in there because I don't want anything like, right now the weather is just, flipping. And so if there are flies outside, they feel the warmth inside and they want to come in. I have been having issues. I don't have a swarm. I have like 3 or 4 flies that come in every single day. And then I have to walk around trying to kill flies. They drive me nuts. I hate flies a lot. So it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. So I want to make sure that everything is tied up so that insects like flies or the gnats or anything like that can't get to it, okay? And then I also want it where it's kind of locked up so that things like rodents can't get to it. Now, somebody made a comment that, oh my gosh, if a mouse gets in there, they can get through that too. And I'm like, if a mouse goes into that pantry, that is the least of my concerns, is that Rubbermaid tote, okay? I have a lot of stuff in there that could be destroyed by one single mouse. And so honestly, if a mouse gets in there, I'd have to contemplate burning down the house, but I won't do that. But it would just break my heart to have to go through everything, and try to figure out where it got in and how it got in and all that other fun stuff. We have been remarkably fortunate. We typically get 1 or 2 mice in the house every year, and very shortly after they enter, my beautiful cat finds them, Shadow, not Una, and makes sure that they aren't around anymore. And the dogs think it's a game now too. It's just disgusting, but awesome because they don't stay in the house and nobody has messed with our pantry. I've been very careful. Any paper products are stored high, and eventually I would like to turn those totes into nothing but toilet paper storage and toilet paper towel storage. So when I get to that point, but for right now, they are perfect being used what they are. You don't have to put them in Mylar bags, but of course, if you want that extra safeguard, you can. And then you can put them into portions, so you could put a 16-ounce box worth into a Mylar bag, seal it up, put that in a bucket. You've got like all kinds of layers of protection there, and it's all good. Totally up to you how you want to do it, but basically you just want to keep it away from pests, rodents, and moisture. You want to make sure that the moisture does not get in there. So whether you might have a pipe burst, or there might be a roof leak, or the humidity in your house is kind of out of control at the minute, that's all something that you need to factor in when you are storing pasta, okay? Along with a whole bunch of other stuff. But I know that when they're in there, they're good. I actually have to add moisture to the house because we burn wood for heat predominantly, and it gets pretty dry in here. So we're good with that. Oh, speaking, she doesn't really mouse very much. She just kind of keeps everybody company. Okay, so other questions. Somebody asks, you don't freeze your pasta before you put it up? No, I don't. I have never frozen pasta. I freeze flours. You put those in there for at least 7 days. That's things, grains like that. But I don't do that with pasta. I've never found it to be necessary. I had some questions about cheese, and they're valid questions. They're very good questions. I have found our refrigerator is cold enough that sometimes I have to, be concerned about things freezing in a bottom drawer. Did I mention I hate this refrigerator? Anyway, so I don't have an issue with cheese going bad. I have had, and this is what we buy, okay? We buy American cheese like you saw, and we buy the shredded cheese. I normally get that big bag. That will last us 2 to 3 months easily. And I get the big bag of the cheddar, and then if I can find it, I will get a mozzarella provolone mix. It really kind of depends. I have one in there now, and that's probably all, we'll need. And then I also pick up bricks of cheese. And predominantly those are cheddar and pepper jack that I pick up because I can shred those. They're great for making soups. They're great for making any kind of other dishes. And we do a lot of like cheese and meat trays here for snacks, or, you know, if we don't feel like cooking dinner, we'll just throw that together. So having those bricks of cheese is very handy. Now, you can freeze those. You can freeze those, okay? But you're not exactly going to pull out those bricks and slice them up and have them great for cheese trays afterwards. Freezing cheese does change it to some extent, where it's still great for cooking, but not necessarily nibbling on. It gets crumbly. And that's the same with cream cheese. Cream cheese you can definitely freeze. So if you see a sale, grab it, throw them in the freezer. If you use the cream cheese for cooking, okay? Because when you defrost it, it's not going to be something that you're going to love to slather on a cracker. You know what I mean? Also, sour cream, you can absolutely freeze that. It's a little bit different, might be a little bit watery when you defrost it, but it's still good for, you know, using what you use. And then there's cottage cheese. I have never frozen cottage cheese, but you can absolutely do it. And then again, use it for your lasagnas, your meals, that kind of thing. Would I throw it in a bowl and put fruit over it? Probably not, but I'm a little particular. So, you know, it's totally up to you. You can freeze cheese. You just may not get the same exact product. You will not get the same exact product out of the freezer that you put into the freezer. It is mainly good at that point for cooking and baking, that kind of stuff, which is great because cheese is a great ingredient to have around. And it's, again, another one of those comfort foods. It's protein, it's fat, all around good stuff. And hey, it goes really good with pasta. Somebody was, hey, Lise, you know, you can always make noodles. Yeah, you can absolutely make noodles. Absolutely, you can make noodles, okay? You know, I love making homemade noodles for my soups. Oh, there's nothing better. But the fact of the matter is I work for a living and I'm not home a lot. And so it's not always an option to make the noodles. Sometimes it's just easier to have them boxed up in there. And you can do it either way, though. You do you to the best of your ability and stock up the best for you. So if it's not in your budget to go buy a bunch of pasta, but you do have a budget and a need for flour and that kind of stuff, then hey, you know you've got a multi-purpose item there that you can make a whole bunch of different stuff with. I think I covered that in one of the videos. It's one of those things you definitely want to have around. Now, I mentioned in that video that this was a Walmart pickup order, meaning I ordered it online and I pulled into their special little parking lot and they loaded it in the back of my car and I scooted away. Because I don't go into the store. I have been into the Walmart store one time since February, maybe. And I don't anticipate going in again anytime soon. So I'm not scouring the shelves. I'm looking at what I can pick up on the Walmart app that I think that we need for our long-term storage, so that we have any of those gaps filled for, you know, the possible 90 some odd days, 94 now, in case of emergencies. And that's what I'm preparing for at this point. I am preparing in case of emergencies, and these are things that we will use, maybe not in 96 days, maybe it'll take 2 years, okay? But there are things that I know that we will use that I want to make sure we've got plenty of in case something does happen. Again, I don't do this to fearmonger. That is never my intent. I am not somebody who believes in fearmongering. It actually upsets me. And so that's why I'm cautious about what I give to you guys and what I put out to you guys, because that's not my intent. My intent is to spur you into action to become better prepared for life's little emergencies. I believe that the possibility that something could happen over the next 3 months is real. And I mean, it's just as real as if, you know, you're putting money in the bank in order to save up in case of an emergency. Only instead of money in the bank, I'm putting food in the pantry because I want to make sure that me and mine are well taken care of. That is my number one priority, me and mine. Phil is my number one priority. I am right there second, equal to him, okay? After that, it is the kids and the grandkids. So that group right there, that little nucleus right there is my concern, and that is who I do this for, and that is why I do what I do. Because I don't know about you, but I mean, have you ever been hungry? There was a point very brief point, okay, because I've always been a really hard worker, but there is a very brief point where I was cash strapped hard and I ate air popped popcorn for a week, okay? At that time, I wasn't even working in the restaurants. So, you know, you do what you have to do. I don't ever want to eat air pop popcorn for a week. Probably would do me good, but I'm not going to. So it's the best insurance policy that I can think of for our money at this time, is making sure that we don't get caught with our pants down, that we are safe and secure and comfortable in our homes for the next 3 months or so, or longer, technically for longer. I hope I answered some of the questions that you guys had. If you have any more, definitely drop them down below. I love having these conversations. And until next time, be safe.